Alright, so now we're going to be taking a look at permissions in Linux. The first thing we want to do is go to our web root, which in this case is we'll do cd, go cd rww. Alright, now if we do ls-l, this shows us our permissions. The first character over here will be D if it's a directory, or it'll be a dash if it's not. The first three are the owner's permissions, which in this case is read, write, and execute. The group permissions are going to be read and execute, and then everybody else that don't fall in either of those is going to be read and execute. So this is the same as 755. If we look over here, it tells us the owner and then the group. So in other words, there's the owner permissions and then there's the group. And anybody that's not in either one of those, these permissions fall on it. So what we have is index.html. This is going to be our default document for Apache. Now, if you don't want to change the ownership or permissions, the easiest way to edit it would be sudo nano index.html. And now we have full read-write access. I've made some modifications to this, but we'll go ahead and just take this out. And then we'll press, if you look on the bottom of Nano, you have all these letters, and basically to access them, you press the control key and then that letter. So the one that I use the most, and you probably will too, is Control X. And it brings this up since we've made changes, and this is basically just asking us if we want to save those changes, and we press yes. And then now it asks us what file. We'll just press enter to accept the current file. Now that made changes. So what we'll do, we'll open up our browser, and then we'll go index.html, and then we can see our changes. It does work. Alright. Now think about permissions. I wanted to show you how to figure out what owner needs to own the Apache folder. To do this, we're going to create a document, sudo nano php info.php. Alright, in this we're going to create the lines php info parentheses that, and we're going to press Control X, press Y for yes, and then enter. Alright, now if we do a ls-l and we look, that file had a little bit different permissions. This is 644. That's read, write, read, and read, and it's owned by root. Alright, so we'll open up in our browser, we'll go to php info, and I'll show you the purpose of this. If you have PHP installed, this is one of the easiest ways I know to find what user Apache is running under. We go down here and we look at the user and group, and there's our www data. That's our user. This is the user ID and then the user group, or the group ID, which they're basically one and the same. You can look up some tutorials on that. So www data is what we need right now. So we'll go ahead and minimize that. And what we're going to do, we're going to go to cd period, and now I'll do ls-l again. And we've got quite a few directories here. The one we're concerned with is www. You see the D in front of it, and it's owned by root, and it's the group root. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do sudo change ownership. I'm going to do www-data, and then www. The second part is optional. Everything after the colon is the group, the user group. Okay, and then we're going to do recursive, so we use the -r flag, and then we'll do www. Now we do ls-l again. We can see now www data is the owner of it. Alright, so now we'll go to cd www, and now I'll show you what the recursive function flag did. you notice it made all the files inside of here the same owner and group as well. Now the reason this is this can be important is because now I can do sudo. Oh, actually, yeah, I do have to do sudo because I'm not that user. Sudo change mode, and I'm going to do 700 and then index.html. Now this basically takes all permissions away and only gives exclusive rights to the owner, and that's very restrictive, so that keeps it from being tampered with. So now we're going to go back one, and then we'll click refresh, and we can still read, write, and execute that file because www.data is the one that's serving this page. And we look, and as you can see, that's the only one that has any permissions. The group don't even have permissions, but the user does. This keeps anybody else from being able to even tamper, open, or mess with that, and that can be very important. You can change the group. If I wanted to change the group to my user, which my group is the same as my user, I'll do index.html. Sudo. Alright, now I'm going to change the permissions. I'm going to do read, write, execute for both user and the group. Alright, now do ls-l again. As you can see, now I will be able to read and write, execute that file. I can go and as you can see, it doesn't give me any read-only warnings. So now I can edit this file and make any changes I want. Okay, doesn't make any sense, but okay. Press Y and enter. And as you can see, I was able to make changes without having to okay. So now I can directly edit that because now I'm in that group. So now I can edit these files. www.data can still do everything, and nobody else can touch it. So there's your basic rundown of the functions that you would use to check file permissions. You could even change the ownership to David. Say I want to directly edit everything in www. Let me do cd period. I want to do sudo change ownership. Let me see, David R and www. Alright, now I go to cd www myself, and now I'm the owner of all that. Now the problem is I need to change that back to group, and this will allow much more restrictive permissions. But however, PHP won't be able to write to any files unless you assign www.data group to the file and then give it write permissions. And I am out of time, so that's going to conclude. You might check out the wiki for more information on this and permissions, and good luck. Thanks for watching.